Well, good morning and welcome to today's webinar, Up Your Facebook Game. And before we get started, as always, I'd just like to make sure that you can all see my screen okay. Should be the Up Your Facebook Game title screen, and that you can hear my voice all right. So if you look to the right on your GoToWebinar control panel, you'll see a question box. And if you can hear me, if you could just type in as a question, okay, give me a thumbs up. Just let me know that you can hear me all right. That would be fantastic. Thanks so much to those who just sent a message. Good morning, good morning. It's good to be with you. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Well, we're good to go, and I want to thank you all for signing up for today's webinar, which is all about how to improve the way you use Facebook. So this isn't one of those kind of beginner intro to Facebook webinars, but that's okay if you are quite new to it, because I think you're going to find a little benefit today as well. This is for those of you who are pretty comfortable with Facebook and maybe you're wondering how you can take it to the next level. So today we're going to go over some common best practices, some tips you may not have heard of before, and then we're going to touch on an area that we really haven't in the past, and that is the ability to market through Facebook, or as some put it, pay to play. One thing I want to point out before getting started is that we have several previously recorded webinars that are available to you. So perhaps today's webinar isn't exactly what you were hoping to learn. Well, be sure to visit our blog, which is also known as the Region Update. And the next slide is going to have that URL. So if you're not familiar with that site, be ready to write it down if you're taking notes here. In the past, I've done webinars on Facebook Basics, Twitter 101, best practices in social media, etc. So I strongly suggest checking that resource out. And here's the URL I was talking about. It's remax-western.ca/blog. And when you're on the Region Update, you can hover over the Training tab and click on Recorded Videos to find all of the previously recorded webinars. You can also discover future webinars under the Events tab of the Region Update. And if you look there now, you're not going to see any, but today I'm going to be updating the next several months worth of webinars. So keep an eye for that. Maybe check that resource out tomorrow. So make sure to write that URL down once again if you're not familiar with the blog. And a final quick item to mention before we get started is that on all of our social media webinars, we use the hashtag RemaxSocial. You'll see it in the bottom corner or in the bottom middle of the screen there. And the whole point of that, if you're on Twitter and you want to just let others know that you've tuned into the webinar today, or if there's any points that you think are particularly interesting, feel free to tweet those out. And that's just simply to let you know where that conversation is happening. So once again, a big thank you for everyone who took the time today to tune in. For those of you who haven't seen one of my webinars or recorded videos in the past, my name is Wade Patterson, and I'm the Social Media and Communications Coordinator here at Remax of Western Canada. And if you ever have any questions or you want to chat about social media or communications, please don't hesitate. Reach out to me. I am happy to take those calls, to chat to you, to help you out, to make it easier for you to figure out things that might be frustrating or struggling, or that you struggle with social media. So my email is wpatterson@remax.net, Patterson with one T. And you can also contact our head office here in Kelowna, and that number is 1-800-563-3622. Or if you're on Twitter, my handle is @PattersonWade. Well, Facebook has always been thought of as a leader in social media, and it is still very much on top in terms of user numbers. Of course, that could change in the future. You never know. But for now, Facebook is likely a social media network you want to focus on for your business. One tip I always give is if there's one social media network to really focus on, to put energy in, rather than kind of half-heartedly doing 5 different social media networks, Facebook is probably where you want to focus your attention. There may be other social media accounts that you have found success with, and that's great. Keep doing whatever is working for you. But if you only have a little bit of time to invest in social media every week and you're wondering where that should go, I'd suggest Facebook. So we're going to start off today's webinar with some content best practices. We're then going to move into talking about using video on Facebook, both uploading existing videos natively and also talking about how you can use to your advantage the relatively new feature known as Facebook Live. Finally, we're going to chat about some of the other opportunities that exist within Facebook marketing. So it's my understanding that more and more agents are becoming interested in these possibilities. And for a modest budget, some agents have really begun seeing great results with Facebook ads. So we're going to chat a little bit about that opportunity and whether it might be something you want to consider checking out in the future. One question many new agents ask is whether they should have a personal Facebook profile or a Facebook business page. And to clarify, when using Facebook, you have to have a personal profile in order to create a business page. So you need to have a personal account, but I think it's also a great idea to have a business page as well. Personal profiles are great for maintaining relationships and staying connected with past clients, and I think that's a very important piece of your social media efforts. However, having a business page has several advantages as well, especially if you're interested in doing a bit of advertising through Facebook. Having a business page will allow you to do that. You can also link to your website through a Facebook business page. You can include a call to action and even start building up reviews and response time. So personally, I think it's a good idea to have both an active personal Facebook account that you use to keep in touch with others and interact with past clients, as well as a business page that you use to post interesting content that is relevant to those in the community you live in. So keep in mind with your personal account, you can always set your privacy permissions. If there are certain individuals who you'd rather not be allowed to access all of your photos or things like that, there's that little lock icon that's in the top right of the screen if you're in desktop view. Click that and you'll see options for a privacy checkup, as well as options such as who can see your stuff, who can contact you. And that second image to the right shows you how you can also put certain friends in lists. And this might be a good idea if there's certain things you're only comfortable with sharing with family and certain things you'd rather share to your clients list. At the beginning, it takes a bit of organization getting people sorted in these lists, but then it's really easy to choose that on all of your posts. But if you still, so the second image to the right also shows an option that says restricted, and this is really rare. You're not going to use that very often, but if there's someone that you want to create the illusion you're friends with, but you're not comfortable with them seeing any of your content, you can put them on restricted mode, and essentially they're still your Facebook friend, but they can't see really anything you post. Once again, an incredibly rare situation, but like I say, you might want to use the list to just sort out different groups and who sees what things that you post. When you have a Facebook business page, it can be tempting to utilize it to post your listings. And I'm not going to tell you not to post listings, but I am going to suggest that you shouldn't just post listings. So here's the quick example I always like to give. Let's say I've liked your Facebook business page, and in that moment, I'm thinking of buying a house. Well, if I log on to Facebook and you're posting listing, 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 listing on your Facebook business page, hey, that's maybe not the worst thing in the world because I'm interested in buying a house. I might even click and check out some of those listings. But here's the problem. As soon as I move into a place and I'm settled and I'm happy, it might be 5, 10, maybe more years until I'm ever in that house buying mentality again. But if next week I log on to Facebook and you're still posting listing after listing after listing, well, that no longer resonates with me. That's not useful to me. And it probably won't be for a very long time. So I'm likely going to do one of two things. Either I'm going to disconnect by unliking your business page, which of course isn't a good thing, or I might not disconnect, but I won't interact with any of your content because it's not relevant for me. And on the next slide, you're going to find out how that actually might be worse than someone unliking your business page. With regard content for our Facebook business pages, the best rule I can give you is the 80-20 rule. So simply put, this means try to make sure 80% of the content on your Facebook business page is good, interesting, relevant to anyone who's in your community. A few examples of good content, well, you could post about market trends in your area, you could write about community events, perhaps you're participating in a fundraiser or you're volunteering. Those are great photos, great information to share on your Facebook business page. It shows you care about the community you live in and that you're connected to the community as well. You can also share articles that we post on RE/MAX of Western Canada's Facebook page, which link directly to the remax.ca blog. And that's kind of an easy way. If you're running out of content, you can always utilize our Facebook page and share those stories onto your own page. I've seen a few agents post contests to their Facebook business page that say something along the lines of, hey, go and like our Facebook business page and comment on this post for your chance to be entered into a draw to win 4 bottles of wine. Something like that. And sure, that might help your Facebook business page get more likes, but there's a significant problem with doing this, and it might eventually hurt you in the end. Many of you probably understand that just because someone has liked your Facebook business page, it doesn't mean they're going to see every single thing that you post. And that's why Facebook wants you to advertise. You see, Facebook's algorithm is built to reward good content that is relevant to as many people as possible. So let's say 100 people have liked your Facebook business page. Well, Facebook may start, when you put out a post, by sharing that post with 15 out of 100 people. What Facebook then does is it monitors the interaction ratio, which means how many people are liking, how many people are commenting, how many people are sharing among those 15 people. Facebook's going to assume that that is good content if a lot of people are interacting. So then, let's say 8 out of 15 people like that post, well, Facebook's going to share that now to another 15 people and monitor it. And if a lot of people interact there, it's going to share it out to more and more and more. And the best content will be delivered to the most people. So when you put out a contest that's offering a bottle of wine for people who like your Facebook business page, guess who's going to go like your Facebook business page? People who like wine, not necessarily people who like your real estate content or your community content or whatever it is that you're putting out there. So here's the problem with that. Let's say you started with 100 people who liked your Facebook business page and you grow that number to 500, but still only 100 people are genuine fans of your content. 400 other people liked your page because they wanted to win the wine. Well, now when you put out a post and Facebook delivers that to a small portion of those number of people, there's a good chance that the people who like the wine will be the ones seeing the content. And when they don't interact with that content, it's going to stop right there. So my suggestion is get genuine fans, genuine people who want to be connected to your business because you're sharing good content about the community, not people that you kind of scammed into liking your page by offering something free. So if we're going by that 80-20 rule, a key question you might have is, well, what should make up the 80% of content that I put on my Facebook business page? Well, today I'm going to give you a couple quick examples that I think are examples of truly great content that have been utilized by both offices and individuals. So the photos on this page were posted by RE/MAX River City in Edmonton. And for context, they hosted a client appreciation event where they rented out a theater and they had an exclusive screening of Batman versus Superman. But here's the thing, they didn't stop there. The office brought in 2 people dressed up as Batman and Superman, and those individuals took photos with guests in front of a RE/MAX backdrop. Look how excited the kids are in some of those photos. Now, I believe the odds are very high that those who attended this event probably asked whoever was putting on the event, hey, where can we go and find these photos? This is awesome. My kids are so happy. They're dressed up as Batman. We want to get these photos with Batman and Superman. Well, the response, yeah, you can find them on our Facebook business page. We're going to be posting them there tonight. Now you have a group of people who are going to your page with a purpose. They want to find those photos. And here's the thing, they're not going to go to that page and simply look at the photos. They're going to go to that page, find the photos, and then they're probably going to share that onto their networks. And if you get a few different people doing that, and the others who they're sharing it to find that interesting and start liking it, and then further people see that because their friends liked this album, all of a sudden your Facebook business page has some pretty great exposure showing that you're involved, that you care about your clients and that type of thing. So I'd highly encourage you, if you have any sort of client appreciation event, anything like that, don't just host the event. Take some photos with a purpose of posting those to your Facebook business page, and you can even get creative, think outside the box, maybe create a little photo booth, something like that. This is a great way to build some content that's super interesting for your business page. Another example of great content that has been taken on by some Remax agents, I've seen a few different Remax agents and a couple offices do this as well, is something called the 30 in 30 video challenge. So Melanie Gallia, who's pictured here with Remax Fort McMurray, she did this last year. So she went to 30 different businesses in her community in 30 days, and she interviewed them for a video series on her YouTube channel. Well, Melanie's clients won't have any doubts that she understands the community she is working in when they come across videos like these. They're also a great resource for clients she might have who are considering moving in from out of town. This shows that Melanie is well connected and knowledgeable about her community. So how you go about doing this, it's very simple. You don't need fancy camera equipment, anything like that. Maybe just one person to hold your iPhone camera even, and you just talk to a couple businesses. Say, hey, I want to feature some different businesses on my YouTube channel. I want to show what this community is all about. Is it cool if I come in? Well, the businesses are going to love that exposure. You're building that great relationship with them, and you're also proving to your clients that you know about the place you live in. Again, these are examples of great content, not just good content. Some very cool ideas here. On the topic of video, one way to up your Facebook game is by uploading videos directly to Facebook or natively to Facebook. So sometimes it's more convenient to go and upload your videos to YouTube and then just take that link and post it elsewhere. However, research shows that view rates are higher on Facebook when you upload natively to that platform. So one of the biggest reasons for this is the autoplay function that happens with Facebook native video. So if you can imagine someone who's scrolling through their newsfeed on their phone and a YouTube clip comes up, well, that's going to show an image with a play button over top. So someone can easily watch that video, but they have to actually physically press the play button to start watching that video. The difference being Facebook natively uploaded videos will automatically start playing as you scroll by them on your newsfeed, although they won't include sound at first. But still, the odds of catching people's attention goes up significantly with this type of video. So if you have a great video that you want to share, just take that extra step. Go ahead, upload it to YouTube. You can still share it elsewhere through YouTube, but for Facebook specifically, take the extra couple minutes and upload it natively to Facebook as well. And that's very simple. On the post, you can simply, where you go to add photos, there's also a video option there that you can upload. Over the past 2 years, video within social media has been evolving, and a big movement has been the transition to live video. And we've seen some social media apps come out, such as Meerkat and Periscope, that are specifically for this purpose. Well, Facebook started to see this popularity, and they decided that they wanted to cash in on the live video trend. Here's the thing, live video isn't for everyone, and it can be really intimidating at first, especially the fact that you're live. Anyone can see you, and you have to talk in front of a camera and an audience can interact with you. It can be a very intimidating experience. However, utilizing Facebook Live can help you connect with your audience in an unfiltered and really a meaningful way. So the photo here was actually a screenshot from a Facebook Live video that happened yesterday, which was shot by Bruce Johnson. Now, I'm sure many of you know Bruce, and he's taking part in the Motorcycles for Miracles tour, which is a fundraising journey that benefits Children's Miracle Network hospitals. This is a perfect example of an effective use of Facebook Live video. He's keeping his network up to date on what he's doing to support the Children's Miracle Network. Other examples, I've seen agents shoot live videos at open houses, maybe showing them some of the features of these open houses. And here's the thing, viewers, people who have liked your business page, they can type in questions as you're shooting that live video, and you can interact with them in real time. I believe live video is most easily available through the Facebook app. So when you're on the Facebook app and you click on status, there's going to be an option that says live video, and in brackets it should say new. But here's a quick tip if you're going to start experimenting with Facebook Live. Have a bit of a plan for what you're going to talk about. I've seen quite a few examples of agents who wanted to try out Facebook Live, and they started shooting a broadcast, and they said a sentence or two, but you could tell they hadn't really thought it out past that. And then when they weren't getting viewer questions, they started to panic and they ended the video. We'll have a bit of a plan and plan to talk for 5 to 10 minutes. That way, if questions come your way, you can talk and you can answer them, but at the same time, if no questions are coming, you can still make a great video that people can check out after the fact as well. This next point is one that I'm really passionate about personally, and I hope it's one that you see a little bit of value in as well. So I'm a big believer in a famous Canadian named Marshall McLuhan. He had a theory that is the medium is the message. And simply put, the theory suggested that the way we send a message is as important as the message itself in terms of the way that it will be interpreted. Well, when we think about Facebook, often we find out news on Facebook, and then we respond to that news via Facebook. And Facebook is a gold mine of good news. For the most part, people share positive experiences, positive stories on Facebook. Every now and then there's those Debbie Downer posts that are, looking for sympathy. But for the most part, people post the great, exciting things that are happening in their lives. One quick example of this is that Facebook tells you when it's somebody's birthday. It's a really handy tool. It's in the top right when you're on your main newsfeed, it'll say who has a birthday. And you have a couple of options when you see that. You can click right there and a little box will pop up and you can type happy birthday. So in my screen you see it's Tammy's birthday. I could type happy birthday Tammy. And what's going to happen is that message is going to get delivered on Tammy's newsfeed. But guess what? That message is going to be delivered with 200 other messages of friends who saw the same notification, clicked that box, and typed in happy birthday Tammy. I have more options though. I could click on Tammy's name and go directly to her profile. I could send her a Facebook message. So now we're getting slightly more personal. And I could say happy birthday Tammy. The exact same message but through a Facebook message rather than a timeline post. Well, now I bet I'm not one of 200 people who do that. Maybe I'm one of 10. Or if I know Tammy pretty well, I could pick up my cell phone, I could press her name in my iPhone contacts, and I could send Tammy a text message. Wow, now we're getting really personal. I'm probably one of 5 people who would do that. I could pick up the phone and call Tammy, wish her a happy birthday. I could give her a card. I could take her out for a coffee. Do you see how as we take the news from social media and take it offline, take the news from online, offline, suddenly it becomes more meaningful. And I promise you that if you experiment with this a little bit, you'll find that you're going to have a very positive impact, especially past clients who you want to stay in touch with. You're going to communicate with them in a more meaningful way. Now, I was going through this example at Sales Associate Orientation last month. Yeah, last month it was. And one agent asked me, well, is that not a little creepy if I don't really know the person? And that's a great point. Absolutely. If you don't really know the person, I mean, don't knock on their door and ask to take them for a coffee, something like that. You've got to use common sense there as well. But what I'm saying is a lot of times it'll be our best of friends even, and we'll still just click that and type in happy birthday. Whereas I think with clients, we can take it to the next step. We probably know them on a decent level, and we can really do something in a more meaningful way. So just one little tip there. All right, so I wanted to spend the majority of time, I know we're getting close at 9:25 right now, but I'm going to go a little bit over because I think this is important. Facebook advertising is something I haven't focused a lot of time on in the past, but I believe there is a big opportunity here. But don't take it from me. I know a bit about social media, but since I've never sold real estate, I wanted to reach out to some RE/MAX agents who have found success using Facebook advertising. So here's a couple very quick testimonials of what they had to say. So the first agent told me that he spent $1,000 per month for 4 months distributing 5,000 awesome newsletters, awesome in quotations, in a targeted farm area, and he received 0 calls from doing that. He then went in and spent $50 on a 2-week Facebook ad campaign, and generally when he does that, he receives 8 to 12 CMA requests each time from the same geographic farm area. So for him, that was a perfect example of the night and day difference about Facebook advertising. Another agent reached out to me and told me that she sold a listing once that had a shop, and how she did it, with a shop that had a motorcycle, and how she sold that was by boosting it specifically to Harley Davidson owners on Facebook who were living in that neighborhood. That's how she sold the listing. So what I'm going to do, rather than showing you a PowerPoint slide, is I'm going to go right in to our Facebook account. Now, I'll be the first to admit I am not an expert in Facebook advertising, but maybe that's a good thing because perhaps you aren't either and you want to see how it can be done. And I just want to give you a quick example that maybe gives you a bit of confidence, because we're talking about a relatively modest budget that you can use here, and by doing so you can really have an impact. So if you click this little drop down arrow that's in the top right, you're going to see some options, and one of those is create ads. So you're going to click on create ads, and the ads manager will then pop up. So this is kind of a different screen than the typical Facebook experience. Well, you have a bunch of options in this list of what types of advertisements you can use. And there's three that I want to focus on. From doing a little research, talking to RE/MAX agents, really there's three that I think we should focus our attention on. The first is boost your posts. So you can boost either a post that's already been created, or you can go in and create a post and boost it for that way. And I think that's one really good option. Another one, and this is the one we're really going to focus on today, is send people to your website. So let's say you have a specific listing and you have a landing page for that listing, that type of thing, that you want to send traffic to. This might be a really good option for you to use. The last one I want to highlight is this one down here that says get video views. So if you're a RE/MAX agent who is kind of experimenting with video and maybe you're producing some really great video and you want to get a lot more attention by doing that, maybe try out this Facebook video views advertisements. From the agents I talked to, the return on investment, I guess, was approximately 1 cent per view is what they were finding, which they were really happy with video views. Another one that might catch your attention is this promote your page, but I'm going to suggest that that might not be the best one to choose, and it kind of goes back to that contest example that I gave earlier, talking about, you can do a contest for bottles of wine, but you might get people liking your page who don't really love all of your content. So I think it's a good idea to build your own Facebook business page audience organically rather than maybe trying to do ads to gain traffic that way. So for today, we're going to click send people to your website. And here you'll see a little screen pops up that you have a campaign name. And for this, let's just call it webinar test. I'm going to do number 3. I've done a couple of these. And then here you'll see this option comes up. Just make sure you're in Canadian dollars. You got the time zone how you want it, and you can continue. So now you're going to see this screen pop up. And this is really interesting because this is where you get into the nuts and bolts of who you want to focus on, who you want to advertise to. From my understanding, you can create a target audience here, a custom audience. And from my understanding, you can set up your farm area once. So if you have a bunch of contacts, you can go in, you can do that. It's a little bit of work the first time you do it, but then in future times that you want to set up a Facebook ad, you just begin typing the name of that audience and it will automatically default. So you can go in and experiment with that, but that might be an option for you. But here's what I want to get into, is that you can get so specific with Facebook ads. And here under locations, if you click this drop down, you'll see, okay, I can target everyone in the location, maybe just people who live in the location, people recently there, or people traveling in this location. Let's start experimenting with location. So I'll remove United States, and for this example, I'm going to type in Kelowna. So now you see that this is potentially all the Facebook users who are in Kelowna is who I could target. And if you click this little drop down here, you can get really defined. So you can widen your area that you're reaching out to, or you can go down to within 10 miles, whatever you want. But I'm going to exit out of Kelowna for a second. I'm going to show you something else that's pretty cool. If you type in a postal code, so let's do V1W, and click here, boom. You see that automatically Facebook has taken that postal code and you can target everyone who is within that postal code, which is pretty neat. Another thing you can do, exit out of this postal code for a second, is drop a pin. So let's say I don't know the postal code of Glenmore, but I know that I want to target people living in and around Glenmore. Well, I'm getting close to that region, so I click drop pin, and I can put that anywhere on this map. So if I click there, you'll see that when I zoom in, this is the focus. And now I can click on the region that I'm focusing, and I can bring that down to a 1 mile radius. So look how specific I'm getting within Kelowna here. This is the type of people I'm going to target within this community. And on the right, it's constantly updating your audience definition. So you see right now that the potential reach is 10,000 people. There are 10,000 Facebook users that are within this area that I could reach. If I scroll down a little further, I can get specific about the age. So this is cool because let's say perhaps the type of home I'm selling, I don't think an 18-year-old is going to buy it. I want to focus on 30 to 65. Well, I do this drop down, boom, my ad is now going to be going to 30 to 65-year-olds. And if I want to focus on a specific gender, so just men, and you see the potential reach changes, or just women, 3,500 people there, I can do just that as well. Here's the really great thing about Facebook ads, and I think this is almost the secret sauce. This is the really, really exciting thing. Through Facebook ads, you can do something that's kind of an unpublished post. So if you're creating an ad, it doesn't have to live on your timeline. You can just target people within this region. And one question I got asked yesterday was, well, where do these ads appear? And I'm going to show you that in a second, but essentially you can set them up to appear in your target demographics newsfeed. So when they're scrolling through and they're checking all their friends' stories, your ad about a listing or something like that can show up right in that newsfeed as well. Well, the thing is we can get so specific. With these tools we have to define our audience, we no longer just have to take a photo of the front of a house with all the boring stats that are about it and try to sell a house that way. Let's say your listing has an amazing kitchen. Let's say that's just, it's the selling point. It's such a stunning kitchen and you want to focus on that. Well, let's use that example and build a bit of a Facebook ad. So we're going to be a little stereotypical here maybe, and we're going to target women. And if we scroll down here, you'll see you can also focus on languages, but this detailed targeting is pretty cool. So if I click on that, you'll see that we have demographics, interests, behaviors, and there's more categories as well. Well, under demographics, we can get into education. You might want to target people with a little more education. You can get into relationships, relationship status. It's incredible how specific you can get. One great example Michael Thorne gave, he recently did a bit of a webinar, not a webinar, but a video tutorial on how to do some of this. And he said, hey, if I owned a flower shop, who would I target? People who are engaged, right? Like that would be the perfect type. People maybe recently engaged, that type of thing. Just such a cool idea that you can get so specific. But let's exit out of demographics for a second and let's go to interests. And let's go food and drink. Cooking. We were talking about a kitchen. Let's add cooking to our list of demographics. So this is pretty cool because now we're going to focus on women between 30 and 65 who live in this area, who have listed on Facebook that they enjoy cooking, and this could include baking or recipes. Well, if we go back to our audience definition up here at the top, we'll see that we got a little bit on the specific side, so we might have to broaden that out a little bit. So let's not be so stereotypical. Let's include men as well, and we can add in more things as well. So we can add another one. Let's say we want to add wine. People who like wine. Boom. So we're adding that. Now we're kind of back in that green zone of the audience. We'll see we have a potential reach of 2,800 people. And we know that our ad is going to go to people who live in this area that we've defined, men or women between 30 and 65 who enjoy either wine, baking, recipes, or cooking. Pretty cool that we've gotten that specific with the audience. Connections, that's an option if you want to target people who have liked your Facebook business page. You can even target friends of people who have liked your business page, or you can exclude people who like your page as well. So that's an option you might want to check out. here for placements. So you can choose automatic, but what I'd also suggest is just clicking that choose your placements. And here you see where your pardon me, your advertisement is going to end up. So this is the mobile newsfeed for Facebook, so that's probably a good one to keep checked. Maybe you don't want Instagram. That's not really your focus. Audience network, no. Desktop newsfeed, same thing. Just like mobile newsfeed for Facebook, you definitely want to get in that desktop newsfeed. And the desktop right column, I'm not as big a fan of. That's the little one when you're on Facebook that pops in the right. Some people like it. It's totally up to your own preference. But for now, let's focus on Facebook newsfeed posts. They're going to be delivered to mobile and desktop. So if we scroll down a little further, now we can determine our budget. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of affordability. So I can set a daily budget, $5. And let's set a start and end date. So I want this campaign to start on July 27th, today. Start it right now. Let's end it August 27th. We're going to give this a trial for a month. You can also change this to be a shorter time. Let's say you just want to try it till August 8th and see. Well, look at this. Your ad's going to run for 21 days and you're not going to spend more than $105. I think it's a pretty affordable experiment to try starting out with this type of thing and see if you can reach a specific audience. Once you're happy with that, you can give your ad a set name if you'd like that describes it. That describes the audience, scheduling, or ads inside it. That's maybe if you're doing multiple. That way you have your advertisement set up and you're kind of building that pre-populated list for future advertisements if you'd like. So now you click continue. And once again, I mentioned you can either use an existing post that you've already posted to your timeline, which isn't necessarily the best thing because some of these ads you might not want showing up on your Facebook business page. You want unpublished posts or dark posts, as they're also called. So let's choose a format. For this, we'll do a single image and we'll choose an image. And I have to apologize about this photo. It's definitely not the best image, but hopefully it gets the point across. It's kitchen related, and we're focusing on kitchen, men and women between 30 and 65 plus, so 30 in any age really, who enjoy cooking or wine or baking or recipes. So we've got our photo here, and here's where we begin to build our advertisement. So it's really simple. If you have a URL here to a landing page that you have details about the listing, this is where you'd put it. For now, just for the example, I'm just going to use a generic website. This isn't the website that you would use, but let's just put remax.ca for now for an example. Here's where it gets pretty fun and pretty creative. You can create a headline. Why not do something fun and punchy that you think is going to speak to your audience? So remember, you've defined the audience. Now you're talking directly to them. This example might be a bit on the extreme side, but it gives you an idea of the flexibility. I apologize here as I type a little bit, but something like this. Now my title is your kitchen a bit too small? Something like that. And the text now that's up here, I'm going to change that, and I could change that to our new Glenmore listing has the kitchen of your dreams. Something like that. Okay, we've got a learn more call to action, but I'd like you to also click this show advanced options because there's a couple more things that you can do. You can right here change the news feed link description. So that's this text. I'm not able to highlight it here, but here, sorry, I'll just type up a quick link description. Perfect kitchen is only a few blocks away. Call us for a showing. That's maybe perhaps. Can you tell I don't have a real estate background? That type of thing, right? You can kind of create something that might get people's attention. Here's the other cool thing. You can change the display link. So you could make it www.latestlisting.com if you wanted to. All that is that's this text that's showing up here underneath. Is your kitchen a bit too small? The perfect kitchen is only a few blocks away. Calls for a showing. you create what the URL looks like. It's still going to go to www.remax.ca, but you can put whatever URL you want there. Then after this, you're going to go down, and I'm not going to do this because our account's all set up and I don't want this to be an actual advertisement, but you can then click place order. I hope that gives you just a little bit of insight on really how user-friendly Facebook ads are. I think sometimes we think about them as being quite intimidating, a little bit scary, that type of thing, but I wanted to give you a quick run through on some of the possibilities. And I'd be really excited, and I challenge some of you, if you're going to start experimenting with Facebook advertising, let me know. Like, I mean, on the one hand, maybe it's going to be fantastic for you. Maybe you're going to see great results, get a few more people to your open houses, or maybe you're going to say, hey, wait, this isn't working for me. And we can go through what you've been doing and maybe reach out, find out some other best practices, and find out what you can be doing. But my understanding, the agents that have started using Facebook advertising have seen huge benefits. So that brings me to the end of this webinar, and I apologize I went about 10 minutes over. Usually these are a half an hour, but this is one that I really wanted to focus some attention on. So I really want to thank everyone who took the time to tune in today. I'm going to be sticking around. If you want to type me questions, I can type them back to you, that type of thing. Right now we don't have any questions. My contact information is on the screen, 1-800-563-3622, or you can get me by email at wpatterson@remax.net. Also, this webinar has been recorded and it will be uploaded to the region update later today. If there's someone you think should see this, let them know that that's where they can find it. Maybe tell them to check tomorrow once it's actually been uploaded. Thank you so much to everyone. That's the end of the webinar. Have an amazing day.